The Dawdler's Philosophy.
Snippets. Just a taste.
Okay, so let's do it, right? Let's try to dive in and talk about the will to power itself and the metaphysics that Nietzsche provides in Will to Power that, as far as I can recall, is not touched upon in any of the other published work. He wasn't much of a metaphysician. But this is one of the reasons that I really like this book, is that he does delve into this stuff here and not elsewhere.
So, before you get going,
Yep.
can I... would you be willing to entertain me for a second while I ask some stuff? I mean, if you're going to address it, then just tell me, and then we'll get to it as we get to it. But if we're not, I'd like to kind of see if we can, for my own curiosity, see if you can come up with an interpretation or an idea about what he means. Because we've already established that he doesn't tend to make explicit arguments or definitions. What do I mean? This phrase, will to power, has been thrown around a lot, and it's the name of the goddamn fucking book, and he apparently intended to call it that from his notes or something. Anyway, will and power, and the phrase will to power. Like, can I just get a little bit of that? Like, what, like power? Like, physicists have a definition of power. Is that like, what are we talking about?
Quote.
Yeah.
It's not going to start off. This isn't part of the quote. It's not going to start off like it, but we're going to end up there.
All right. Good.
So a quote is,
What are our evaluations and moral tables really worth? What is the outcome of their rule? For whom? In relation to what? Answer? For life. And what is life? Here we need a new, more definite formulation of the concept life. My formula for it is, life is will to power.
Unquote. In multiple places, he uses that phrase. He identifies life and will to power. Of course, it becomes more complicated than that, but I think, especially since you are a kind of biologically oriented person, if you thought of it in that way, if you just thought, if the simple definition of will to power were just, well, it's life, that would probably get you pretty far. What do you think of that?
There isn't enough for me yet.
Okay.
Will to power, would you agree or disagree or whatever? Because you're very familiar with Nietzsche and you have your own thoughts, and so taking those things together, will to power, like striving to get leverage, is that what, can I interpret it that way? Or what do you, like, you know what I mean? Like, will to power, what is the will? Is I know what people try and say when they're talking about like the will, like, like someone's just like, I'm going to do it, or whatever. And then power is just like, I can make things happen. It's kind of like am I close to what you're thinking and potentially Nietzsche is thinking, or do I not understand this phrase yet?
When you are driving in the car and from the back, and you're headed toward Epcot Center, and your kid in the back seat keeps saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Can you go faster? God damn it, get me where I want to go." He has a will to Disney. I think the general, like what that type of phrase means, like a will to something, is that whatever the X is on the end of the sentence, will to X, is the telos, the purpose, the end, that to which the energy and exertion is focused.
Okay.
It's is this agent attempting to bring about? So Nietzsche in various points talks about a will to truth. And that in that case, that's one of the reasons to have a thing-based metaphysics. Because in order to make true sentences, there has to be a fixed world for your sentences to be about. So if you have a will to truth, then you're going to have a thing in itself metaphysics, because your aim, what you want, you're willing toward getting the truth, and you can't get the truth in a flux universe, because there is no truth, because it's always changing, whatever. So that will to X has various ends.
Am I being silly? And because I'm not yet there with power, but am I being silly? Like will to power, I often hear political people say like truth to power. Is this a similar kind of move, or is that
I don't think so.
a different move?
Because in that sense, and this is going to be, I'm going to be too intoxicated and tired to come up with what the grammatical terms for this are. But I think there's different ways that the word to can function. And in your example of truth to power, it's like you have a thing and you're delivering it somewhere else. You're like, I'm going to take this thing to Oz, or what, I'm going to deliver this thing from one place to another. And I don't know how well that analogizes to will to power.
Can you be like a will to truth to power?
Quote, life is not the adaptation of inner circumstances to outer ones, but will to power, which, working from within, incorporates and subdues more and more of that which is outside. Life, a will to accumulation of force. Nothing wants to preserve itself. Everything is to be added and accumulated. Life is a special case of the will to power.
So it's about accumulating, it's about acquiring, getting, exerting that which you will to be. So, all right, how about this as an example? I think that Aubrey de Grey and the gerontologists and the people who want to eliminate aging and extend the human lifespan indefinitely, I think that is a will to power exercise.
I think I understand.
Human beings want to, if nothing else, be negentropic. We want more of the universe to be habitable by us for a longer amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's helping.
No, that helps. Life, then, what? Life in the biological sense, in the societal sense, or in all the ways?
Saying the biological sense is the easiest and most direct response. But with Nietzsche, not much is easy and direct. But I think you can probably go ahead and think about it in the biological sense.
So the bamboo that luckily has gone away from my property, it has a will to power in that it just wants to grow and keep moving and spread out and just pop up in the middle of the yard and just all that shit.
Yep. Yeah, he even talks about in various places, there's some phrase about the wisdom of plants or something like that. And I think that's like this bamboo that you have a hard time
Taming,
eliminating.
Yeah.
It's because it has this, it wants to be the only plant in your yard. And that is its will to power.
Yeah, got it. I have it. Do our 3.3 and a half listeners have it?